I go back to the rear.
Spider still in your ear.
Spider still in my ear.
Oh, God.
I go to the medic. All right. Say, hey, a spider crawled in my ear while I was on the ambush line. He's like, really? That's weird. I was like, yeah, let's not talk about the details. Let's see what we can do about just getting this thing out. I mean, Herman's getting kind of annoying here.
Yeah.
The thing about the spider in your ear is like,
It clogs the ear just a little bit, right?
Yeah. But you can feel and hear it move inside of your head.
I would have told somebody to shoot me right there. Just fucking end it.
Let me tell you about this guy.
I'll tell you about this fucker right here.
Yeah.
I guess it would be a rant about today, something that happened today.
Let's rant.
Yeah.
Brandon rant.
Yeah.
Brandon's TED Talk.
Yeah, Brandon's TED Talk. I think I've noticed that my rants are Gen Z related, which is interesting. They're all about my generation. Because this is a rant that I have about today at the gym.
Okay.
So I know I look like I work out. I'm super big in bulk and, gym bro.
You should be the next Superman.
Yeah, that's what I think too. They asked me and I turned it down. I didn't want to
Your face.
Right. I didn't want to get a big head, so I turned it down. I turned down the role.
So you're at the gym.
Yeah, so I'm at the gym and I was doing I don't know what the you call it, the tricep pull down thing, right?
Okay.
And this girl so it's like the gym has this setup where it's like 4 different exercises attached to this one pulley system, right? So I'm doing the tricep pull down thing. This girl that's sitting right here, to the right of me, she is doing the rows. And she stops for a second, and I'm assuming it's her boyfriend, but I don't know. It could be just some guy that walked up to her, a friend of hers, whatever. Walks over to her and hands her something. And, I'm in the middle of my set or whatever, not paying too much attention. I look over. She's pausing her set. Her boyfriend's walked away. She has a whole f***ing donut in her hand at the exercise machine after she just finished curls. I don't know whether to be upset or impressed. She wasn't like fat or anything like that, right? So I'm assuming she could afford to eat the donut, but I just was not expecting somebody to be eating a donut, and it was like a pink sprinkled donut at the row machine that she was working out at.
Did you look around her area to see if there was a phone nearby? Because she might have been making a Gen Z gym donut TikTok.
No, there was no phone nearby. The only phone that was nearby was on the ground, but it was flipped over, screen up with no camera on or anything like that. So nothing was recording. She just enjoying a donut in between sets of her rows. Then she finished the donut and went back to rowing. I was like, okay. So maybe it's not a rant. I don't know if I'm, like I said, I don't know if I'm upset or impressed. It was interesting. I hear comics make jokes about that kind of thing. I've never actually seen it happen before in real life.
It is pretty random.
Yeah. Yep. Just a whole donut. He wasn't eating a donut just for her for some reason. Period cravings? I don't know.
Give me a pink one with sprinkles.
Those pregnancy cravings be wild. I don't know. Yeah, it was very interesting. It's like, okay, well, good for them, I guess.
Alrighty then.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of donuts in the gym.
No, me neither. And it's just not who I was expecting. I would expect somebody like, I don't know.
It's gonna go bad as soon as you start saying it.
Yeah. I'll just leave it out. But
all you're gonna do is like lay down breadcrumbs trail for me to go down.
Yeah, I know. No, I would expect someone much bigger to be eating a donut at the gym.
And there's the first crumb. Trying to get me down my own set of rants, and then like next thing you know, it's like, we're gonna have to edit that whole thing out, right?
Yep. So, so that this leads me. yeah. Anyways, this leads me into my transition. So Saint Kit is what you called it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Saint Kit, like Kit Kat bar, like Halloween. You see how I made it there, huh?
It's a stretch.
Yeah, it's quite the stretch. Donuts.
That's a different
Halloween.
transition. I was thinking along the lines of, oh, speaking of scary monsters.
I don't think I have to edit that, but maybe they'll get it.
Yeah, so as you all probably realize, we're in
spooky season.
Halloween season.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
They calls it the spooky seasons online.
So this is going to be our Halloween episode, and we are going to talk about the things that scared us as kids and things that scare us now.
Mm-hmm.
Find out why they scare us. Are they the same things?
Yep.
So let's start with Brandon.
Well, as you can tell by the distance I keep from Mike,
You're afraid of
scare me.
You watch too many Bruce Lee movies.
Yeah.
Man, we're all just like Bruce Lee.
I know. You all know some sort of voodoo magic, karate, as you call it, or whatever the hell it is.
Jeet Kune Do.
Yeah, exactly. Just pretty sure you're just making up words, but yeah. So let's start with Brandon. What would you like to know? What do you think the people want to know?
Well, so think of like Halloween as a child. All right.
Okay.
What scared you for Halloween?
As in, like, people would dress up and that would scare me, or just
Like
in general?
they were like, were you afraid of going to haunted houses as a kid?
Not particularly, but I guess I didn't really go too many. But it wasn't like oh, I don't want to go there or anything like that. I just never, it just wasn't something we did. So I didn't go to a ton. Were you?
No, I wasn't.
No.
I knew it was all fake stuff. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, cool, you know? Like on the episode of Last Man Standing.
Yeah, right.
Giant spider, $79.99. Are you crazy?
Yeah, that's outrageous. If you guys haven't watched that show, it's a good show, by
It's a
the way.
great
It's
show.
pretty funny.
It's one of my favorites.
But yeah, no, nothing Halloween related really
How about
scared me.
Scary movie related.
Yes, like legitimate scary movies like The Exorcist and things like that. Anything to do with spirits and demons and all that shit, no, that not for me.
For that reason, I'm out.
I'm out. I don't want the movie. And it's actually not the movie so bad that scares me. It's the after, like laying in my bed at night, it's dark, or usually my dreams are very influenced by what I watch, and I get nightmares. So what? Why are you laughing?
Just because of the thought I planted in your head that caused you to have the dream.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I'm laughing. Because now you say that, it's like, that's kind of funny.
Yeah. But so, yeah, so like I get really bad nightmares when I watch scary movies. So not only do I get tormented in the movie, I get tormented by my brain in my nightmare. So it
Remember
just
your first scary movie?
Okay, this is gonna sound ridiculous
Hocus Pocus.
and pitiful. No, not Hocus Pocus. But honestly, what scared me as a kid was, and it's not even a scary movie, but Lord of the Rings. And
The
it was
cartoon? Or the movies?
It's the movies.
Okay.
And it was I think his name's Gollum.
Gollum?
Yeah. The movie in general did not scare me, but I got to that part and it didn't really scare me, but it was just obviously creepy as it was meant to be. And then I had nightmares that night about it, and I couldn't ever watch it. To this day, I have not watched them, even though I could.
So how old were you when we watched that?
I don't remember. I was young. I don't remember. Probably below 10. I don't remember though. 8 maybe.
All right.
Yeah.
Because of the age difference, so like, to me, when the Lord of the Rings movie came out, it was like, oh, that was just a couple years ago.
Yeah, so I was young. But yeah, I don't, that was I don't remember what my first like actual scary movie was. I don't know if I really dove
the first
into
one
them
that
much,
you
but that was the
remember.
first one I remember that actively like scared me and gave me nightmares.
Do you remember? I mean, maybe you haven't done it, but intentionally going to a scary movie and what it was?
No, not really. There was one movie, I don't remember what it was called, that I watched semi recently, like in the last 5 years or so. It was like this movie where this guy goes to a party, and his sister like tagged along, or he had to bring her or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
And so he got super high, but he had to be the one to drive home. So he was driving home, not paying attention, whatever. The girl leans her head out the window, and as he's driving, basically there's like the light poles in the road.
Mm-hmm.
It hits her head and like takes her head clean off, leaving the body there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he like, or they get into an accident and it like hits her head or something along those lines, and he like literally doesn't turn around. He knows what happened. Like he briefly looks in the mirror and just drives home, but he's so fucking high that it's not all processing. That his parents come out the next morning, body's still in the car with the blood everywhere, whatever. They scream, and then the sister like haunts him basically, and the family because of what happened essentially.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, I don't remember what the movie's called, and the whole reason this weird stuff started happening is because their grandmother started doing these rituals, or mom, or something like that, at the house or whatever before all of this happened. But I don't remember the whole thing. But yeah, I'm sure somebody would know what I'm talking about. I think it's a semi-new movie.
Semi-new.
Yeah, last 5 years or so.
All right.
Yeah.
If you guys know what it is, throw it in the comments.
Yeah. But that was the last scary movie that I watched.
So,
also, before you jump in, don't click away. We're at that timing, you guys. Always click away. Stop clicking away. There's more shit that we get into. Okay,
it's even better stuff on the back end. You're missing out. Dumbasses.
All right, sorry, go ahead.
So to bring it back to the generational thing, I actually think it's more brutal for your generation than mine.
Yeah, it's so real.
Exactly. The technology is so much better.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember being in like 3rd grade. There was this movie called Kingdom of the Spiders with William Shatner, aka Captain Kirk, right? And it was just about this place in California, and we were living in California at the time. And they were doing some, I don't know, construction and earthwork type of thing, and it disrupted a layer of tarantulas that was living underground. And next thing you know, the entire town is invaded by these tarantulas. And you know, people are being killed. You're going to this house that's covered with spider webs. You're going through, and you open up the door, and there's like this dead body there covered in spider webs, and you got to kill all these tarantulas that are like the size of your head and that kind of thing. But if you watch that movie now and see the graphics, it's very different.
I can watch old scary movies, no problem. But that's because I just look. I just look at it and I'm like, oh, that's not real.
There are some exceptions, like The Exorcist. I remember watching The Exorcist when I was like in the 5th grade because my parents had no shits to give. Oh, he's 8 years old. He can handle this one. Exorcist, that scared Jessica to death.
Yeah.
Rabid. Amityville Horror.
Yeah, Exorcist, when it gets into like the demon and possessing stuff,
Yes, in junior high, the Friday the 13th movies came out. And so we went out to the theater and we watched those because, you know, parental consent. Yeah, they're 11. That's fine. And so we watched it, and honestly, I was never really afraid of the hack and slash movies. It's like, oh, it's just a dude with a knife. I was,
Yeah.
There's nothing scary about a dude with a knife.
Right.
And from what I understand in these movies, as long as I don't have premarital sex and smoke pot, I'm not going to get attacked by a killer.
Yeah. Right, exactly.
So, maybe those are like good, wholesome movies to serve as a deterrent to immorality.
Right.
But yeah, The Exorcist, definitely, Amityville Horror, even Poltergeist. Poltergeist was one that probably affected me the most. Because there's a scene where this guy goes into the bathroom and he has like a sore on his cheek that wasn't there before, and he starts scratching it. Then he just starts pulling at it, and then he starts pulling his whole face, and there's like things growing in his face.
Oh, God.
Until he pulls his face off and it's just a skeleton, and that type of thing is super creepy. But to this day, my fear is having like parasites or something that live inside of me and eat their way out of me.
Oh, yeah. I don't like creepy crawlies, especially spiders. God, spiders get me. I do not like them at all.
At all.
No.
So where'd that come from?
I think there's a couple of things, as I was thinking about it, because we were talking about ideas for this podcast earlier. There's actually more that I was thinking about that maybe it came from. So one of the things is I was, I don't know, probably like preteens, maybe like 13 years old, something like that, right?
Technically 13 is a teen.
So 12. I don't.
Okay, let's throw in 12 as a preteen.
Sure, I don't know. Yeah, it changes nowadays, Isn't it something about like kids don't grow up as fast nowadays or something like that?
I think
Preteens
too
are
fast.
13, 14. I don't know. But anyways, so I was cutting a neighbor's grass, their grass, to earn some money, because that's what I used to do when I was around that age, to earn my own money or whatever, right? So I was cutting her grass, and there was a area that I needed to cut grass that was like underneath some bushes, right? Or maybe some branches of like a tree. I think it was like a tree that was growing. And so I needed to get under there, and the branches were lower down, and there was this giant banana spider on the tree. I think when I explained this to you earlier, I used this big as an example. That's exactly how big it was.
They're called that because they taste like bananas, right?
Oh, yeah, right. That's what I missed out on. I was supposed to pick it like a banana. But anyway, so I was like, okay. And I was like, well, I need to mow over here. And, being the whole naturalist supporting animals that I am, I went and grabbed the spider killer spray. And I started spraying the spider with the spray, and it would not die. No matter how much I sprayed it, it would fall down its web, come right back up, prop back up in its spot, and I sprayed it and sprayed it. I think I spent like 10 or 15 minutes spraying this spider. Pretty sure I used all of the spray, and it finally like fell enough to the ground to where I felt comfortable like stomping it and killing it, right? And so I'm like, okay.
Poor spider.
Yeah, poor spider. Okay, all good, right? So I start to mow. I hit a second spider web that has a banana spider on it. His friend, partner, whatever, right? He just watched his friend get murdered. And so in my head, I'm convinced now they're after me because I just murdered his friend or her husband or, father or whatever. And so, and I don't remember if it crawled on me or not, but I remember like that very vividly because I looked like a maniac running around the yard, flying my hands around trying to get the web off me. And some neighbors actually saw me and they're like, "You okay?" And I think I lied. I'm like, "Yeah, bees or something like that." I don't know, right?
You did the panic thing, your hands up there, running in a circle.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think I've ever told this story, by the way. Like, I don't think anyone else knows this. And so from then on, I just always feel like they're after me. Like, they know what I did. That spider told his friends. At this point, 15 years later, it's made its way around, and now all the spiders know what I did.
All spiders are friends. They know each other.
Right.
They have a communication line.
Yeah, I'm convinced there's an Illuminati of spiders, and they all met up, just like, we do at NATO or whatever, but for spiders. And Yeah, they're after me.
Oh, Grandpa Spider's telling the story of Brandon to his offspring.
Yeah, right, exactly. They pass it around. Oh, that white man that came and destroyed our home and
So there's this white man. He had nice hair.
conquered our land and all this shit. Yeah, so I'm just convinced that they're all after me now. So that was the main thing. There was other spider movies, like kind of similar to yours, but looked like real spiders and better graphics.
This is a
that
spider
got me.
movie that I liked.
And not Spider-Man, just to be clear.
No. Gosh, what was the name of it? Is it like there were scientific researchers that went into this rainforest?
That's the one I'm talking about. And they brought back the super spider that like forced itself upon other spiders and molested them and raped them and then made baby spiders. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
The jungle spider rapist.
Yeah. It like forced itself on a black widow or another smaller tarantula or whatever and made it have its babies.
The entire barn down.
Yeah. That's one of the ones I'm talking about. That it was a lot more realistic and like that's what I thought of the banana spider. It's like a super spider that wouldn't die.
So I have a spider story for you.
Okay.
True story.
Okay.
So I was in the army. I was in the infantry, airborne infantry, all that crap. So we went on patrol. We were laid out on an ambush line, waiting for enemy to come, right? And so when you're on an ambush line, you have to be very still, very quiet.
This does not sound great.
So you don't give away your location to the enemy. And we're just waiting there for hours, just waiting there, trying to stay awake and that type of thing.
What do you do if you got to pee? Sorry to derail your story.
You don't get to.
Oh, okay.
Right?
You just got to hold it?
Yeah, you just got to hold it. You're not going to be there for 12 hours, so you should be able to hold it.
Gotcha.
We're all men in the infantry at this point in time, so
right.
you don't got
got to
go.
sit there for 10, not 12, but okay.
So I'm on the ambush line. I have the saw, the automatic weapon, squad automatic weapon. All right. And what I don't realize is that there's a spider that comes down onto my Kevlar helmet. All right. I don't know that. And then it keeps creeping down. And next thing you know, I feel something on my ear. And I was like, trying to decide to move or not to move. Or move or not to move. And then it crawled inside my ear.
Oh, God.
All right. Now, here's a kicker. It crawls inside my ear and then it starts raining. Now it doesn't want to come out. All right. And I'm like, all I'm allowed to do is sit still, lay here still. The enemy never shows up. So we pull back. We go back to the rear.
Spider still in your ear.
Spider still in my ear.
Oh, God.
I go to the medic. All right. Say, hey, a spider crawled in my ear while I was on the ambush line. He's like, really? That's weird. I was like, yeah, let's not talk about the details. Let's see what we can do about just getting this thing out. I mean, Herman's getting kind of annoying here. Yeah. The thing about the spider in your ear is like,
it clogs the ear just a little bit, right?
Yeah. But you can feel and hear it move inside of your head.
So, I would have told somebody to shoot me right there. Just fucking end it.
And so the medic says, all right. And so he takes my canteen of water, not his canteen of water, not some canteen from the medic tent, takes my canteen of water, tells me to turn my head over, and he pours the water into my ear thinking, the water will chase the spider out, right? Because he pours it in there. Spider stays. It's like, it's raining. I'm not coming out. It's nice and warm in here.
Right. And it's so warm. I got some wax to cozy up in. All good.
And after a minute of doing that, and there's no more water in the canteen, he goes, it doesn't want to come out. Well, it'll come out on its own eventually.
Oh, my God.
So, for 3 days, I had this spider in my ear, and it would wake me up when I'm trying to sleep just by moving around in my head.
Oh, my God. How did you not lose your mind? That would have drove me nuts. I think I would have looked like an
it was
insane
very
person.
annoying. I figure, one, it probably wasn't poisonous. You know, the thing I liked about me at the time is I never stuck my finger in there to try to do anything because I was afraid of actually squishing in this goo or whatever, or having it go further in and eating what little brain I
or
have left.
bite you and it is poisonous, and then
It's a brown recluse bites my eardrum.
Yeah,
I'm fucked.
yeah.
So, but after 3 days, I don't even remember when it came out. It's just after the third day.
And you're like, oh, there's not a
Yeah,
little hermit's not in my ear anymore.
I'm suddenly dumber because one of my brains
God.
left.
I would have lost my mind. So first of all, if I was in that situation, I don't know if I could have stayed still, like when it was crawling on my ear. But if it made it into my ear, I would have lost my damn mind. I probably would have got kicked out of the army because I would have told somebody to cut my ear off. That's insane.
So that is my spider story with the benefit of an army story.
Jesus. I would have lost it. I don't think I could have done it. You are a better man than me. I would have lost my mind. I get annoyed when I know there's wax clogging my ear, let alone a spider in my ear. Jesus.
So you went trick-or-treating as a kid?
Yeah.
When did you stop trick-or-treating?
Well, I think I stopped consistently trick-or-treating when I was about 16. So I say consistently because there would be random years with like somebody I'm dating had younger like nieces or nephews that we would go with. And
you're not tricking, you're taking them trick-or-treating.
Yeah, we're taking them trick-or-treating and stealing their candy, right? Basically. So, but I would say I'd stopped consistently trick-or-treating around that time, I think, around when I was 16. Yeah.
So you were in high school and trick-or-treating.
Mm-hmm.
And
I still had a younger
Florida?
sister that was 2 years younger than me, too. So, like, we were still going together. But,
So
yeah.
I remember when I was...
Yeah, in Florida, yeah.
13, 14 years old, went trick-or-treating, me and my friends. And some of my friends looked like they were 14 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And the people, and this is Long Beach, Mississippi. You knock on the door, trick-or-treat. And this lady would look at him and was like, "You're too old to be trick-or-treating. You don't get any candy."
Yeah. So I think that's actually that last year, whatever it was, 15, 16, around then, that's when I started getting that. And so I was like, well, that's fucking stupid. Like, all right, fine. So, and I kind of just stopped going after that.
So what the funny part about this is I would always get candy because when I was 14 years old, I still looked like I was 12, maybe 10. And so I was like, my two friends would get scolded and I would get candy. And it actually was more fun trick-or-treating when I was 13 than when I was like 8.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. This is, I guess, not really off topic. Do you feel like there's a age limit to trick-or-treating?
I do. I think it's for children.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of like the opposite of the amusement park, right? If you have to be this tall to get on the ride, when you can fit on that ride, you can't trick-or-treat anymore.
Well, I don't know. Trick-or-treating's free. Those amusement parks are expensive. I want candy too.
But, I was a short kid, so it's like you have to be this tall to get on the ride. And there's like so many rides my friends got to go on and I didn't.
Right. So your payback is I get to trick-or-treat still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that's fair. And honestly, it doesn't. Well, I guess for some people, depending on your beliefs and if you decide to do it with your kids or not. But for a lot of people, it doesn't end there because they end up going back trick-or-treating, but taking their kids, right? Mm-hmm. And then they just steal their kids' candy and, comes around full circle.
Well, that's what my parents always did. It's like after trick-or-treating, we'd come back and we have to spill the goods on the table. And the parents had to go through inspect the candy.
Yeah.
And it always seemed like there was a significant shortage, particularly of Snickers bars, which happened to be my dad's favorite candy.
Yeah, it's weird how that correlates, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
got.
they're the miniatures, because nobody's going to give out. in
Yeah, only the
Mississippi.
rich houses give
Yeah.
out the full size candy
And there were
bars.
none of those in Long Beach.
Surprise. Um, yeah, they always had to inspect the candy, inspect it by eating it themselves, make sure it's not poisoned or anything like that. It was so funny. I don't know. Did you have this time period as a kid where, because I know I did, but I don't hear it as much now, this in particular, but the whole like people are melting down and putting razor blades in the lollipops and all of that stuff.
They did talk about that. And we actually had some candy where the lady in the neighborhood put staples in it. It's like stapled the Tootsie Rolls. It's like, that's pretty easy to pick out.
Yeah.
Trying to see that.
That's
that type of thing.
insane. I don't get that. What always made me laugh was the drugs in the candy. It's like, who the hell is wasting $300 on cocaine and then putting it in the candy? I'm like,
I do know the people that did that, but they were saving that particular stash for themselves.
yeah, for themselves. They're not giving it away to the kids. I was like, that's insane. A drug addict would never do that.
No, not at all.
No. If you're an addict, you're saving that for yourself. You're not sticking it in the candy. Are you trying to get the 10-year-olds hopped up on the cocaine that they never understood why they like that candy so much?
There was this one lady that lived across the street from us in Mississippi. She hated us. Absolutely hated us. Probably with reason. I mean, because
you were Asian.
Okay,
right.
so
you can say it.
There's a park behind their house. Across the street from our house is her, and right behind her house is the park.
Mm-hmm.
Now you could go all the way around
Used to
to
cut
the
through.
road.
Yeah.
We would cut through between her house and her neighbor's house.
Right.
And there was no fence, so we just try to ride the line, and like, it's not your yard, you can't yell at us, right? And she would yell at us, and we're like, it's not your yard, and then the other one would yell at us, it's not your yard. So we get yelled at by both neighbors. But this one that was on the left as you're going to the park, I remember it distinctly. One lady was like, "Get out of my yard! Stop doing this, kids." She would straight up cuss you, cuss your mom, cuss your dogs, wish death, mayhem, may Satan come and get you. So we would go to her house trick or treating, because we did it because we knew she hated it, right? Yeah. But we never ate anything she hated.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of my final years trick-or-treating, I also started going around and started getting some things like, oh, here, have these apple slices. And it's like, F you. This is bullshit. I don't want apple slices. Yeah. Also, people need to, people complain about why kids don't go outside anymore. That's one of the reasons. People get all uppity about that kind of shit. Like, I'm crossing your yard to go to the park. I was like, can you calm the down? I'm just going to the park. Like, chill out.
And it was not like I was even near the house. We were literally trying to stay on the outskirts.
Yeah.
Right?
You're not, hitting her walls, busting through the windows, throwing rocks at her windows or some shit.
Not even breaking into her house.
Yeah. You're not doing damage to property. You're not going around and digging holes in her yard and all of that shit. Yeah.
Yep.
Something about as you get older, you just care way too much about your lawn.
That's true. I think it's not really caring about your lawn is more along the lines of disliking other people and want people to stay further and further away.
Yeah.
Get off my lawn.
Yep. Either that or you like kids a little too much and you really like giving them candy outside of Halloween.
Yeah, that's the other problem in the Western world, isn't it? You have the ISIS stack fucks like you 5 feet high and use your sandbags in Korea. Or, hello, little boy. I've got a special stash of candy for you in the basement.
So, for you as a kid, was there anything, we talked about the scary movies. Was there anything you were particularly scared of?
Particularly scared of? No, I was either too smart or too stupid for that.
Too stupid to be scared of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like the Friday the 13th, the hack and slash stuff never bothered me or
Right.
anything like that. There's always the supernatural stuff.
Any like animals that like really scare you or anything like that?
No, because we used to go
Phobias?
hunting for snakes. Phobias? I'm afraid of horses.
Okay, why horses? Is it because of horse girls? Is that
No. So I lived in the Philippines, right? I
Uh-huh.
was like kindergarten age.
They fed you horses.
And they had these cops on horses at this fair.
Uh-huh.
And the other horses that you could ride. And I was around the cop's horse and that kind of stuff. And it was always like pawing the ground and snorting at me when I wanted to touch it. It was like being mean and scary to me. And even like the horses that were designed for you to ride on, I was already tainted by the cop horses, but I got to the other ones. And I didn't like their movement and them pawing the ground and that kind of stuff. So I became afraid of them. And what I did was I would go and ride the water buffalo instead. I could sit on the neck and hold on to the horns, and I'd ride water buffalo instead of horses. And I've always been afraid of horses.
Which is hilarious because water buffalo are arguably way more dangerous than a horse. So you're still afraid of horses?
I am. It's on my bucket list. I want to find a person who has a very calm horse
Or a pony.
or a pony or whatever that is patient,
Miniature
right?
pony.
and private, because I don't want to. I've actually sought out trying to overcome this thing, but everyone wants to put me in groups. It's like, I am not going to be a 40-year-old man in front of 8-year-olds, and I'm the one that's afraid. That's not going to happen. The big bad paratrooper around here can't ride a horse at 8-year-olds.
I would imagine that finding what you're looking for is difficult because as soon as you start typing into Google private horse riding lessons, scared, must be alone and patient, probably some weird things start coming up, I'm sure.
But maybe, we'll use this platform, all 49 of our subscribers. Right?
Yeah. So actually, I checked today, it went down to 48, but whatever.
What did you do?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know how this works. I'm not analytical enough in this kind of stuff to know what gets people.
I guess that if they unsubscribe, they just hate veterans and Asians.
Yep, that's supposed to be what it is.
Not allowed to unsubscribe anymore.
Yep, you
But
hate
one of our-
veterans and Asians and cocks. Name our cock,
Yeah.
goddammit.
Name it.
No,
Maybe
what was I
one-
saying? Yeah,
maybe one of them, somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody or whatever. Help a brother out. If you know somebody where I can go and address this issue, I'm willing. I'm feeling pretty confident about it right now where there are no horses to be seen anywhere.
horse girls, comment, give us suggestions. Mike's willing to pay to ride your horse.
I don't know where that's going, but it needs to not.
It's not going anywhere. Are you not willing to pay to get what you need out of this?
I'm hoping not to pay. I want to cash in on my veteran status card, like help a veteran.
All right,
out.
that's fine. 10% discount to ride your horse.
10% discount. Damn, can't get anything for free anymore.
Nope.
Free is my favorite 4-letter F word.
Oh man, we're gonna get the wrong kind of comments. That's okay. At least they're comments. It shows user interaction on the video.
So yeah, horses. It's ridiculous. It's stupid to be afraid of horses, but here I am.
Well,
sweetheart.
I mean, I guess it's better than being afraid of puppies or something like that, right? So, horses. Prefer to ride the water buffalo.
I've been 5 feet away from a gator in the Everglades and had like little baby gators swimming around it. That was fine.
Well, you lived in Florida at one point,
Yeah.
right? Yourself. Yeah. After you live in Florida, gators don't scare you anymore.
Yeah.
You're like, they're just kind of there. And for the most part, they don't do anything to you. You just tap them. They run away. They're,
Although I just read an article, was it 2 days ago,
Mhm.
about in Florida where this cop had to shoot and kill a gator that was indeed dragging a human body down the street.
God.
And its mouth.
You think it killed the person, or you think that person died and it was dragging the body?
The suspicion is that it killed the person because it was actually living in a homeless camp by the river.
Oh, well, you know, they pray after the week.
And the decisions we make.
Yeah. 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 I mean, you hear about some, but it's really not that common. And speaking of Halloween, gators. Gators. I don't know how I made it there. Fierce. Yeah. Well, happy Halloween, Mike.
Happy Halloween. Let us know in the comments after you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
Uh-huh.
What is it that you were afraid of? What are you currently afraid of? And what you like or hate about Halloween?
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Talk about how we'll rank them dumber than being afraid of horses. Makes sense.
I'm afraid of Jello.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. Happy Halloween. Subscribe, click, comment, do all the things. Look at our X, Twitter, TikTok.
And
what
Instagram.
else do we have?
I think
Instagram.
Instagram. It's the minor leagues towards you got to go through Instagram to get to OnlyFans. So that's what Instagram
Right.
becomes.
One day, Mike won't know about it. We'll have an OnlyFans.
And Brandon will be the star of the show.
It will literally just be pictures of our cock.
And on that note, peace be the journey.
Bye, guys. If you subscribe, I'll give you candy.